Have you ever stopped to think about how almost everything you own, your phone, your clothes, your car, actually got to you? Well, chances are it traveled across an ocean. We're about to pull back the curtain on the absolutely colossal and often hidden world of global shipping and see how it's going through a massive, radical transformation.
Get this number in your head. 90%. That's the portion of all international trade that travels by sea. Just think about that for a second. It's the lifeblood of our global economy. Right now, as we speak, there are nearly 40,000 cargo ships crisscrossing the globe, making sure everything gets from A to B.
You see, for a long time, the race in the shipping world was pretty simple. Build bigger ships, and bigger still. But we've kind of hit a wall, a physical limit. If these ships get any larger, they literally won't fit through crucial gateways like the Suez and Panama Canals. So, the game has changed. The new frontier, the new competition, is all about building ships that are smarter, more efficient, and way cleaner.
So how did they do it? How did they build the future? We're going to walk through this incredible story in 6 parts. We'll start with the crazy challenge they faced, then look at the blueprint for this absolute behemoth. We'll see how it was built in pieces, discover the secret to its giant's heart, follow it from steel to sea, and finally, just appreciate it as a total masterpiece of ingenuity.
Okay, so our story kicks off with a French shipping company, CMA CGM. And they didn't just want to build another big ship. No, they wanted to spark a revolution in the industry by taking on a massive dual challenge.
And the mission they set for themselves, it was audacious, to say the least. They decided to build not 1, but 9 of the world's largest container ships. And as if that wasn't enough, these ships also had to be the cleanest ever built, running on a totally new kind of fuel. The deadline to pull off this miracle? Just 2 years, a time frame that pretty much everyone in the industry thought was impossible.
To really wrap your head around just how insane this challenge was, you have to appreciate the sheer scale of the machine they were about to build. The numbers, well, they're just mind-boggling. First up, its length, 400 meters. Now that's just a number, right? So let's put it in perspective. That's like taking 4 professional football fields and laying them end to end. It's an absolute giant.
And what about its weight? A colossal 70,000 tons. And get this, that's when it's completely empty. That's the same as weighing about 11,500 African elephants. Just try to picture that. So what can this beast carry? A record-shattering 23,112 standard shipping containers. If you were to take all of those containers and line them up bumper to bumper, they would stretch for an unbelievable 150 kilometers.
Okay, so the big question is, how on earth do you build 9 of these monsters in just 2 years, when a single ship like this would normally take at least 18 months? Well, the answer is in a totally brilliant manufacturing strategy. It turns shipbuilding into something more like assembling a giant high-tech puzzle.
See, instead of building the ship from the keel up in one spot, 6,000 workers at this massive shipyard in Hong Kong build it in huge, pre-made sections they call blocks. Now, these blocks can be anywhere from the size of a room to as big as a multi-story building. And the genius part is, they're all built at the same time, with all the pipes, wiring, and other guts already installed before they're even put together.
The whole process is like a perfectly choreographed industrial ballet. First, they take these special steel sheets and cut them with insane precision, using lasers that are 3 times hotter than the surface of the sun. Then, those sheets are assembled into the blocks we talked about, pre-fitted with all their internal systems. And finally, these massive chunks are lifted into place by giant cranes and welded together.
And the amount of welding required, it's just staggering. For just one of these ships, you're looking at 1,250 kilometers of welding. And every single inch of that weld has to be absolutely perfect, because you better believe the unforgiving waves of the ocean will find any weakness.
To help you picture what 1,250 kilometers of welding looks like, imagine drawing a single continuous welded line starting in Karachi and not stopping until you get all the way to Lahore. That is the sheer amount of meticulous, perfect work needed just to hold one of these giants together.
But remember, size and speed were only half the challenge. The other half was making this behemoth clean. And the solution wasn't in the hull, but in the giant's heart, its revolutionary engine and its game-changing fuel system.
You see, this ship was designed to run not on traditional dirty diesel, but on liquefied natural gas, or LNG, and the environmental benefits are just enormous. We're talking a 99% reduction in sulfur, 91% less air pollution, and a 20% cut in CO2 emissions. This is a huge leap forward for cleaner shipping. But of course there's a catch. Why use liquid gas? Well, because as a liquid, it takes up 600 times less space. But to keep it that way, you have to keep it unbelievably cold, minus 161 degrees Celsius. If it warms up, it turns back into a gas, expands rapidly, and then boom, game over. So this creates a monumental engineering problem.
The solution is basically the world's largest and most sophisticated thermos. It's a massive, heavily insulated fuel tank that's built right inside the ship. It's capable of holding 20 million liters of LNG, which is enough to fill 6 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
So, with all this high-tech engineering, how do you test this incredible tank for leaks? You're gonna love this. They use a clever, surprisingly low-tech method. Workers literally apply soapy water to the joints, place a glass container over the spot, and create a vacuum. If any bubbles appear, bingo, they've found a leak. Simple, elegant, and absolutely critical.
All right, so with the hull fully constructed and that revolutionary fuel tank locked safely in place, it was finally time for the grand finale of assembly, bringing all the incredible components together to give the ship its power, its brain, and its final protective skin.
And just look at some of these final pieces. The engine stands as tall as a 6-story building with a single crankshaft that weighs 220 tons. The propeller, cast in a single piece, is 10 meters high. The command bridge, the ship's brain, uses a wild, smart eyes system for a 360-degree view, and the whole thing gets coated in 1 million liters of protective paint.
So after about a year and a half of relentless work, the first ship was finally assembled. But the job wasn't done yet, not even close. It then had to go through 15 days of grueling sea trials, where every single system, from the engine's top speed to the emergency brakes to the anchor, was pushed to its absolute limit.
And after passing every single test with flying colors, the project was declared a triumph. The shipyard had won the race against time, delivering not just one, but all 9 of these revolutionary ships. This wasn't just a story about building a mountain of steel. It was the story of thousands of workers whose intelligence and sheer hard work made the impossible a reality.
Today, these megaships are sailing the seas more cleanly and efficiently than anything that came before them. They are floating proof that human ingenuity can move mountains of steel across the most ruthless oceans on Earth. And it really leaves you with one final question. What impossible challenge are we going to conquer next?